Well, good morning, sales team optimization oracles. Welcome back again this month to www.salessystem.com.au. My name's Glenn Guilfoyle and I head up the sales team optimization specialist group called The Next Level. And we exist in the passionate belief that those B2B sales organizations that run their sales team optimization as an integral part of their whole of company annual budgeting will be the ones that will rise above the negative forces impacting many of us since the GFC, the terrible race to the bottom commoditization that we're seeing in many mature markets and industries. And these organizations, we believe, will be the ones that will show us what it really means to be B4B instead of just B2B, whereby the staff and the managers of the customers of these organizations value the role of the visiting sales exec as much, even more, than the company that's employing their and paying their wages. So it's because of our enlistment in this cause that we put out these thought pieces each month to help you move to the next level of your sales team optimization. And so this month, we're going to take a look at competitively superior targeting and the merits of a scientific and mathematically defensible approach to customer classification. Okay, so here we go. Fish where the big fish are. Go for the 80-20. Don't mess around at the small end of town. All laudable exhortations. As a fledgling sales exec decades ago, I heard them all. I bet you have too. But, you know, calls to arms like this are just no longer good enough when it comes to pointing your sales team direction in the right direction for targeting, in-field targeting of the customer base and the prospect pool. Calculate the cost of visit in your sales organization. Do it properly. Take the whole cost to fully recruit, equip, pay, incent, mobilize the sales team. Add on top the direct costs of sales management and coaching. Add on top of that the direct cost to serve from any of the functional teams that are serving exactly the same customer base that your sales reps are visiting, typically customer service organizations, technical departments, quotation departments, those sorts of functions, and then take that total cost, divide it by the number of heads in your sales team, divide it by the number of annual visits they execute as a total team. You might be unpleasantly, I should say, surprised. Our studies show that this cost, when calculated correctly in this way, can run into many hundreds of dollars. Ouch. Now, the first critical success factor here in terms of this conundrum, we alluded to in one of our recent monthly bulletins like this. And it's that topic around the merits of really understanding and getting all stakeholders in the sales organization to really understand the value chain environment in which you operate and in which the sales team exists. Who are the segments? How do they add value as product and services passes down the chain? And then importantly, you go to market sales strategy, particularly in terms of which segments you point your expensive mobile sales team to and task them with what sort of a visiting responsibility. This is really the same as saying being able to defensively state who your customers are and who are not. Then you need a means by which to compare every one of your customers, from your biggest Goliath all the way down to all your little rats and mice. Now, the comparison needs to be fundamentally underpinned by two data points that I'm going to call CV, current value, and PV, potential value. Now, if you access the written part of this bulletin, you'll see a click through there, and you can go through to a model that features the guiding principles to help you here. The definitions will vary between sales organisations when it comes to CV, but at principle level, we're really talking about the margin contribution made by every customer on the customer base in terms of their consumption or purchase of your product or service. Again, click through on the next click through on the written version, and you'll see a detailed list of the CV parameters. And then you need a same period assessment of the customer's potential value. Again, click through again to the next click through for the parameters for potential value, and at principle, at the fundamental level, here we are talking about the margin equivalent in terms of the total consumption and total throughput of the given customer in the total category in which you compete. So that's really the combination of what they purchase of yours in blunt terms and what they purchase from your competitors. From here, you can set up a scatter plot where CV becomes the vertical axis, PV becomes the horizontal axis, and with two such data points for every customer, you can then apply them to a scatter plot and see the spread and the concentrations of your customer base across those two key data point parameters. The scatter plot is a very good and proven mechanism for objectively, scientifically, and mathematically classifying the customer base for superior in-field targeting for your sales team. Again, click through on the next click through on the written version, and you'll find the 6 criteria for mathematically defensible customer classification and scatter plotting. The outcomes of an approach like this will clearly define your tier 1 loyals, those who share a similar CV and PV range. They are loyal, they are your high CV from low to moderate CV. The scatter plot will also identify your tier 1 cultivates. They're your low to moderate CV contributors from a high to moderate PV score. They're the ones your customers have got and you'd love to have. And your stars, your high to medium CV with high to medium PV. The scatter plot will also identify who resides in the next tier down, your so-called tier 2s, and define them by CV and PV intercepts. And then the scatter plot will also identify what we colloquially at the next level call the picket fence. Now that's getting down towards the apex of the graph, and that's the pair of lines, one horizontal, one vertical, in the apex of the graph, which put the picket fence around those customers, we sometimes call them cellar dwellers, who do not, on a CV basis, and are not likely to over the current year on a PV basis, contribute enough margin to break even on the cost of minimum level account management and service. Again, click through on the final click through on the written version, and you'll see an illustrative example of a scatter plot. I hope this has given you plenty to digest and think about, and share and debate with your team in terms of how you're currently going about your competitively superior targeting and customer classification. I also hope that this has given you some ideas for how you might take your systems to the next level. Don't forget, we're only a phone call away. All the details are on the website. And I'll look forward to coming back next month where we take the next step and look at the outputs of a classification system like this and how to run superior account management, particularly on your tier 1s. Bye for now.